and was determined to expose it all. She confronted Ellen with evidence, and months later, she was gone. Now investigators have confirmed that after Anne's death, Ellen pulled strings to claim her body, storing it in a mansion freezer like some kind of relic. Over the years, Ellen allegedly consumed parts of Anne in deliberate occult ceremonies.
So I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
And I come to find out there's not that much Hollywood in Hollywood. The Hollywood in my mind is not the Hollywood in real life.
And I have a lot of fun going to late night parties with my friends.
I want to talk about things. If Bill Cosby is accused of sedating and raping all these women, and it's the #1 story in the news, I want to talk about that, yes.
One makeup artist was quoted as saying that when he tried to make small talk with Ellen, she supposedly said, "Who do you think you are? Don't look at me."
You know, celebrity culture has, I think, collapsed at this point, and I think that's a death that needed to happen, you know, because the amount of excess, the amount of debauchery is stunning.
Imagine spending 30 years building a multi-billion-dollar empire on just 2 simple words: be kind. Now, imagine walking away from it all in the dead of night, leaving your high-tech studios empty, your Hollywood mansions sold, and fleeing to a stone house in the isolated English countryside. For decades, Ellen DeGeneres was the undisputed gatekeeper of daytime television. She was the woman who could launch a career with a single dance or end one with a cold, calculated stare. But lately, the music has stopped, and that famous dancing has turned into a desperate sprint toward the exit. The official story we've been fed is that she's looking for a quiet life, following a change in the political weather. But if you look at the paper trail, that story starts to crumble. Real estate records show that this great escape wasn't a reaction to an election. It was planned months, maybe even a year in advance. The question isn't just why she left, but what exactly is she terrified will be revealed if she stays. While the cameras were rolling and the audience was cheering, a much darker narrative was unfolding behind the scenes. This is a story involving secret files, notorious islands, and a 30-year-old grudge held by the one woman who knows exactly where all the skeletons are buried. As the Be Kind brand dissolves, the truth is finally catching up to the Queen of Daytime. But that was just the beginning of the panic. People are starting to notice that the timeline of her departure coincides almost perfectly with the continued unsealing of documents related to a certain private island in the Caribbean. For years, the internet whispered about flight logs and guest lists, but those whispers have now reached a fever pitch. There are logs that place Ellen's inner circle in proximity to that island more often than anyone realized. Even more chilling are the leaked testimonies from people who actually worked on the island, claiming to have seen the Queen of Daytime in places she never should have been. For a long time, these stories were pushed to the dark corners of the web, but now that the official files are being released to the public, the dots are starting to connect in ways that no publicist can fix.
Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials. Flight logs, communications, third-party interviews, peripheral records.
If there is one person in Hollywood who has the power to bring the entire house of cards down, it's Rosie O'Donnell. For 30 years, Rosie has held the secrets of the elite, and lately she's been letting the world know that the Be Kind persona was always a mask. The rivalry between these two isn't just professional jealousy. It's a deep-seated conflict over what was really happening at those high-profile Paradise Island parties. Rosie has recently hinted at the existence of physical evidence, what some are calling the VCR tapes, that document the behavior of Hollywood's biggest stars when they thought no one was watching. Rosie's recent cryptic posts have sent shockwaves through Ellen's camp. She's been speaking about an antiquated way of finding love on private islands, mocking the idea that these trips were ever innocent. The timing of Rosie's vocal exposés aligns suspiciously with Ellen's decision to liquidate her American assets. It's as if the VCR tapes are finally being digitized for the world to see. People have long dismissed Rosie as being bitter, but in light of the recent raids and the unsealing of the list, her warnings are starting to look like prophecy. The internet is currently hunting for the truth about Ellen's name appearing in the broader index of high-profile individuals found in the investigative materials. We're talking about flight logs, third-party communications, and peripheral records that show a level of involvement that goes far beyond just business associates. Rosie seems to be the one holding the map to this shadow network. She knows the gatekeepers, she knows the fixers, and most importantly, she knows why these celebrities are suddenly disappearing from the public eye. A lot of these elite figures are fleeing or retiring all at once because they know that Satan has no more use for them. They've been used as pawns, and now that the light is being turned on, the cockroaches are looking for a place to hide.
After 30 years of holding Hollywood's biggest secrets, Rosie O'Donnell is letting the world know what Ellen DeGeneres was really doing on Epstein Island.
Both of them are ridiculous. Who thinks that antiquated way that you're going to find your love in a paradise island and it's going to last forever?
One of the most persistent and disturbing theories circulating right now involves the actual set design of the Ellen DeGeneres show. Online investigators began doing a side-by-side comparison of the buildings on the notorious Caribbean island and the architectural elements used on Ellen's stage. What they found wasn't just a coincidence, it was a near-perfect replica. Specifically, the temple on the island, with its very distinct blue and white horizontal stripes, bears a haunting resemblance to the backdrop Ellen sat behind for years. Why would the world's most positive talk show host choose to work every day inside a set that mirrors a site associated with unspeakable activities? Some experts suggest this was a hidden-in-plain-sight tactic. It's a way for the elite to mock the general public by showing them exactly what they're doing while the audience claps and cheers, completely oblivious to the symbolism. When you look at the sun motifs and the specific color blocking used on the show, it mirrors the aesthetics of the private parties held by the global power players. This isn't just about interior design, it's about branding a shadow network. The resemblance was even pointed out by guests and other major media figures. In scrubbed clips from podcasts and late-night shows, people have joked about the similar image to that temple being on the set of a famous talk show that's not on anymore. The mask is starting to slip, and the person underneath is someone the public doesn't recognize. The set wasn't just a place for fun and games. It was a psychological anchor to a world that was never supposed to be exposed. Now that the island has been raided and the structures analyzed, Ellen's stage looks less like a talk show and more like a tribute.
Show him the image of the temple that was on the island. Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? The similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
Perhaps the most stomach-turning evidence comes directly from Ellen's own archives. There's an interview with Sandra Bullock that has recently gone viral for all the wrong reasons. In the clip, the two women laugh and joke as they discuss a high-end beauty treatment known as EGF, or epidermal growth factor. They openly joked about how the serum was derived from the foreskins of Korean babies. At the time, the audience laughed along, thinking it was just another weird, eccentric Hollywood trend. But in light of the recent leaks regarding the list and the elite lifestyle, that interview feels less like a joke and more like a soft reveal of a horrific reality. Think about the context. Millions of viewers were watching two of the most famous women in the world discuss the use of materials taken from minors, disguised as a harmless comedy segment. It makes you wonder how many other jokes were actually confessions of the debauchery happening behind closed doors. The connections don't stop at beauty treatments either. Investigators are now looking at the codes used in these segments. The facial treatment is just the tip of the iceberg. When you analyze the language used by the Queen of Daytime over the years, there's a recurring theme of pushing the boundaries of what is acceptable, always wrapped in the protective layer of humor. But as the public learns more about the shadow network and the rituals required to maintain absolute fame and wealth, these segments are being re-examined with a much darker lens. The EGF jokes aren't funny anymore. They're a window into a world that values excess above human decency.
Okay, let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. How many did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Not everybody.
Okay, and, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these. Some of you, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen, and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes. The
What are you pushing into the skin, Sarah? Sandra? Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
To truly understand how deep this rabbit hole goes, you have to look at the paper trail left behind by the elite. According to investigators who reviewed the unsealed records, the inner circle operated like a tight-knit secret society. They didn't just casually chat about their weekends or their favorite restaurants. They spoke in a highly strange, almost unrecognizable code. If you looked at the surface of these emails, you would think these billionaires and global power players were absolutely obsessed with cheap fast food. Words like pizza, pasta, and jerky appeared over and over in highly classified, urgent communications. But lawmakers and forensic experts who viewed the unedited files stated clearly that this language was deeply disturbing. Adult, health-obsessed billionaires do not urgently courier hot dogs and grape soda across the country in insulated bags. Representative Anna Kaulina Luna confirmed what the internet had long suspected. These were not food items. These were highly coordinated, deeply sick euphemisms used to describe minors and the trafficking of human beings. The casual, friendly tone of these messages is exactly what makes them so terrifying. One email even mentioned a client reacting to a photo of a woman, saying she was radiating a soft glow of bliss, and followed it up with the phrase, "Yeah, that's the pizza." This language matches the descriptions found in the files associated with the Caribbean island logs. Suddenly, Ellen's frequent pizza parties on her show and the constant references to jerky take on a much more sinister meaning. Was she using her platform to signal to the network in plain sight?
Why does Ellen DeGeneres look like a completely different person? After spending 6 months away from the U.S., her wife Portia de Rossi tearfully revealed 3 reasons behind the transformation. In a recent video, Ellen showed off her new home in the English countryside, but many people also noticed that compared to before, Ellen seemed like a totally different person. So what happened? The truth is, her wife Portia shared some heartbreaking reasons. First, Portia said that after Ellen's talk show got canceled and she faced allegations about workplace misconduct, Ellen's mental health hit rock bottom. Even though a lot of time has passed, she's still been haunted by the past. It even made her start to reject who she used to be. Second, Ellen ditched her signature blonde hair and went with her natural dark brown shade instead. She said in an interview that constant coloring had damaged her hair, even causing some hair loss. To get her hair back to a healthy state, she decided to embrace her natural color. Finally, Ellen shared on a show that she'd stopped using Botox and fillers.
I've handpicked the top-rated skincare, home, and wellness essentials in my official Amazon storefront. Click the link in my description to shop the Celeb Curio collection today.
The internet is looking for Ellen DeGeneres, but I'm gonna tell you right now, she probably done left the damn country because she knows she's on that damn Epstein list. As Ellen DeGeneres page, former TV show host, her whole page is flooded with comments saying she eats this and she loves pizza parties. The harassment that she is getting on her page is beyond, and people is looking for her to be arrested and get arrested. But I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of these celebs are fleeing. A lot of these celebs are disappearing because the time has come where everything is getting ready to expose, and they have been used as pawns and puppets. Satan has no use of them. He used them to do their dirty work, to do his dirty work, and now he has no use of them, and he doesn't care what happened to them. This is bad. I don't wish no bad upon no celebs or anybody. Best thing they could do is pray. They have been played and used, and their time has come. It's fallen.
Sometimes the truth is hidden in plain sight, delivered by guests who refuse to follow the script. Back in 2016, Kanye West sat in that same chair and delivered a speech so intense and cryptic that it was reportedly scrubbed from many official archives. While Ellen tried to maintain her be kind persona and keep the conversation likable, Kanye was speaking about the debauchery of celebrity culture and the desperate need to connect to something real. He spoke about being used as pawns and puppets by a system that doesn't care what happens to them once they've served their purpose. Looking back at this banned footage through the lens of the recent leaks, his words feel less like a rant and more like a desperate attempt to expose the gatekeepers while sitting directly in front of one. Pay close attention to the tension in the room during that interview. The queen of daytime was visibly uncomfortable as Kanye broke the likability rule of the elite. He was trying to warn us about the dark network years before the first file was ever unsealed. Kanye wasn't the only one. Other guests have hinted at the shadow network over the years, but their segments were often edited down or completely removed from the archives. There's a persistent theory that Ellen acted as a fixer for the industry, the bridge between the clean, public-facing world of Hollywood and the dark, hidden underbelly of the global power players. She smoothed over introductions, connected powerful people with young talent, and helped keep the industry's most sinister secrets completely quiet. But now that the fixer has fled to the English countryside, the voices she tried to silence are becoming a loud, undeniable roar.
Everybody's trying to I don't give how much you sold. If you playing on radio, are you connecting? Picasso is dead. Steve Jobs is dead. Walt Disney is dead. Name somebody living that you can name in the same breath as them. Don't tell me about being likable. We got 100 years here. We're one race, the human race, one civilization. We're a blip in the existence of the universe. And we constantly trying to pull each other down, not doing things to help each other. But I feel that I can make a difference while I'm here through my skill set. My skills, I'm an artist. 5 years old, art school, PhD, Art Institute of Chicago. I am an artist. I have a condition called synesthesia where I see sounds. I see them. Everything that I sonically make is a painting. I see the importance. I see the importance and the value of everyone being able to experience a more beautiful life.
The culture. While Ellen attempts to build a wall of distance between herself and the unsealed logs, she's discovering a terrifying reality that some of Hollywood's most embattled stars have already lived through. The idea that a 30-year empire can be dismantled by a single revelation isn't just a theory, it's a warning. Johnny Depp once spoke about this exact sense of sudden, irreversible exposure, where the ground disappears beneath your feet the moment the truth finds its way out. As the panic in the Cotswolds reaches a fever pitch, his words about the fragile safety of the elite feel like a direct reflection of the storm currently closing in on the Be Kind brand. Take a look at this eerie prediction that seems to be coming true in real time.
However, it's so far out of hand now that I can promise you that no one is safe. Not one of you. Not one of you. Not anyone out that door. No one is safe as long as someone is willing to say one sentence. Takes one sentence. And then there's no more ground. Carpet's been pulled. But it's not just me, you know, that this has happened to. It's happened to a lot of people.
It started with a completely bizarre interview featuring Chrissy Teigen, a model and longtime friend of the daytime elite. During a casual conversation, she was asked a highly unusual question about whether she would ever be open to eating human flesh. Instead of laughing it off or calling the question crazy, she doubled down. She flat out stated that if the person okayed it, she would absolutely try it.
Actually, nothing I wouldn't eat or wouldn't drink or wouldn't try. If the person okayed it, I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of human meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Is that terrible?
Yet.
I know I'm about to sound completely insane, but just hear me out. This pertains to the Epstein files, the Clintons, and cannibalism, and I feel completely fine and am totally okay. Alright, let's do this. How do we know if someone is a cannibal? Well, they could have the Kuru disease, which is a fatal neurodegenerative disease that spreads through eating brain tissue. It has a long incubation period, 10 to 30 years. Early symptoms are headaches, coordination issues, anxiety, and inappropriate laughter. Middle stage, severe tremors and shaking, loss of balance and slurred speech. Late stage, inability to walk, dementia, and the forever sleep. Do you know of any elites rumored to have consumed human flesh? But I'm not accusing anyone of anything, this is just a fun little joke video. With truth in the mix, in Papua New Guinea they call human long pig. We just love to have fun here. No, the Kuru disease has nothing to do with the Epstein files or anyone in them. Definitely not the Clintons. And I feel fantastic, so yeah, have a good day. Okay, thanks.
What, Ellen?
Ellen was like really weird and not nice to me for most of my career, and like because I opened for her in the 1980s.
Oh, you did?
When she was a headliner in comedy clubs, and not way before her big fame. And so then when I would do her talk show in the 2000s, she acted like we just met, and I'm like, what?
One of those types. One of those types.
I'm like, what? Like that's weird. Like
Right.
it's like we go way back. What? Like it's so creepy and weird, but you know, also the other thing was David Bowie had been on the show, and he was so excited that the night before that I had come to his show wearing this giant Chinese emperor outfit. He was really thrilled about it, and he talked at length about it. And she cut it out of the show, which made me so mad. And the producer, who's a really good friend of mine, had to call me and tell me, I can't believe she did this, but she cut it out of the show. But you need to know that he was going on and on about your outfit. He loves you. God said your name.
So
which is so rude.
That is so gross.
I don't know if it was personal. Maybe it was for time.
Right.
But still, I'm going to take it
Still.
personally just because
Honey,
I decided to.
You should have sent her a note and said, send me the footage. I'll post it to my YouTube.
I know it exists somewhere.
While many viewed the Be Kind brand as a message of positivity, others were looking closely at the underlying symbols and the architecture of the industry itself. There's a persistent theory that the great escape we're witnessing isn't just about avoiding a legal storm, but fleeing the consequences of a much deeper, more ancient agreement. Rumors have long swirled around the unsealed files and the private island logs, suggesting that the elite are bound by a specific set of rituals to maintain their power. This brings us to a chilling testimony that surfaced regarding the Mephistophelian bargain, the idea of making a deal for absolute fame and wealth. The speaker describes a reality involving blood contracts and a specific doctrine where hell is reimagined as an eternal cycle of debauchery, a description that mirrors the partying and excess allegedly found in the files associated with the Caribbean island. If these connections to the dark network are what's truly being unsealed, it explains why the panic in the Cotswolds has reached a breaking point. Take a look at the secret protocols that allegedly governed the world's most powerful figures.
Well, this one was super creepy. Y'all like the video right there, and check this out.
I had to become a Freemason because you can't get involved in Satanism on the hardcore level without first being a Freemason. That was my official shrine portrait, which they took as part of my initiation. I was ready to become involved in hardcore Satanism. What did that mean? Well, that meant I had to sell my soul to the devil. I had to sign my name on the contracted blood. I had to sign my name in the black book. You gotta understand something. The satanic doctrine here is that hell is not what we believe it is, or what the Bible teaches it is. The satanic doctrine is that hell is this incredible party. It's like a non-stop, all eternity. So you're smoking, you're fornicating your brains out, you're listening to rock and roll through all eternity. And it's party hardy time. But before I could get onto the priesthood of Satanism, excuse me, I had to get 7 people to sell our souls to the devil. The other thing I had to do, and this might astonish some of you, is I had to become a Catholic priest. I had to go back to my original vocation, because you cannot be a satanic priest unless, first of all, you're a Catholic priest. And if that surprises you, I just suggest that you go and you read some of the medieval literature you'll see that that is in fact the case.
The music has officially stopped for the Queen of Daytime. That stone house in the English countryside might be the only sanctuary she has left, but as more files are unsealed and more voices like Rosie O'Donnell's refuse to be silenced, the walls around that sanctuary are getting thinner every day. We are currently watching the slow motion collapse of a 30-year empire, and the Great Escape is starting to look a lot more like a final retreat. This isn't just a quiet retirement after a long career. It's the first major domino to fall in a total Hollywood reckoning. The connections to figures like Diddy and the recent federal raids on major music moguls suggests that the shadow network is finally being dismantled from the top down. Ellen's relationship with these figures, her role as a gatekeeper, and the bizarre symbolism found in her set design all point to a much larger story that we are only beginning to understand. The era of secrets is ending, and the Be Kind brand has become the ultimate irony. So I want to hear your theories. Do you think the Be Kind brand was always just a mask, or is the industry simply turning on one of its own to protect the rest of the circle? Is Ellen hiding from a political climate, or is she hiding from the contents of those VCR tapes Rosie mentioned? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is just getting started. If you want to stay ahead of the next major leaks and the unsealed truths that the elite are desperate to keep hidden, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every mask is about to fall, and we're going to be here to document every single one of them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next investigation.